Anyone out there who is watching this, welcome. This is Random Nonsense, where we are going to be discussing random fucking nonsense, because
I've tested the sands of time. I've felt the fire and never bent. I didn't rise from prophecy. I rose from pressure. I am your
Ross, you want to go? You in?
Oh, fuck yeah.
hollow faces in the mirror. Lost soul searching for a savior. In a world gone mad, toxic and loud.
And we're live. Welcome to episode 3 of Random Nonsense. I'm Jay, your host. That's my co-host.
Out our friend Travis. So I would like to welcome our friend and director Travis into the studio tonight.
Ahoy, everybody! How y'all doing?
You can throw it to the clip right here.
Yeah.
We have our special guest. I love the click button.
How's it going?
What's up, Shelly?
Not much.
Wait, I think I got it. Can you hear me?
Holy shit!
Almost fixed it.
Dude. Oh my. I was this close to throwing my phone out the window.
What's the sound? You fixed it.
And
Howdy.
I do not know how to say your last name. So thank you. That's what you
Yeah.
I love the makeup. These guys are great.
Oh yeah.
Interview nailed down. We finally have one of my favorite people on the shoot, Kevin.
That was wild. Top of one.
Okay, there we go.
And here is our guest. And this is Jay Michael.
Hey, how you guys? I'm good. How are you guys?
Our good friend.
Hey.
Hey, Hadi!
Hey, what's up?
What's up, buddy?
I did.
And I did too. I must have jumped. Yeah. All right, here we go. Sam's got the he's got your blackboard actually. The black.
Rubik, it's crazy. Thank you, by the way. And before I forget, the intro, it may be 3 minutes long, but it just proves that you're a true wrestling fan. Like, that's a legit wrestling intro. So, it works perfect.
Hello and what is up and welcome to Random Nonsense. And why haven't I thought about doing the turn like that? Like that was super cool, Devin. Why didn't I think about doing that?
I don't know.
Like
We just filmed like an hour and something long interview, and we talked about all the great people. How the fuck did we not talk about these?
Oh my
God, yeah.
Hello and welcome to Random Nonsense. Extra friend Jason, who plays Paul in the movie The
Yes. You come back. We'll fucking go. Good discussion.
was staying up till 2:30 in the morning and using AI to do everything.
That is very good. I like that. Very, very good. That is-
All opinions
I'm not
expressed
big.
on this show don't always reflect the beliefs of the people on this show. There will be some adult themes and references. We are all adults. If you are young, ask an adult for permission before watching. And remember, it's all for fun. JJ.
And hello and welcome to Random Nonsense. We are being joined by our good friend, and it's been almost a year since we've had him, Chris Seaver, everybody.
Woo! Yes. So delicious.
What is up, my friend? How are you?
Heavily erotic.
Yes.
That sounds about the right kind of feel to be on this show, so that works out for everybody.
He's got the best answers. So,
He's used
how's
to
it
this.
going? Sploogey. Yeah.
Nuts.
There we go.
Let's not use that one ever.
Oh.
That's so bad.
Extra.
But yes, we're here to just bullshit and talk about horror movies. Not his for once. We're doing something completely different and just talking about horror movies in general. But if you want to talk about his, that's one thing. If not, also perfect. Good.
I talk about my shit too much. I talk about that.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair. Yeah, so I think that's a really good idea, which I'm pretty sure is the only reason he did the show. Is like, okay, we're not going to talk about my stuff. Well, right, we got this.
Well, but that's when I shot him a text. That's what I said. I go, hey, you want to come do the show and just talk about other movies that aren't yours?
Well,
because I would like to know his depth and knowledge of horror movies, because he has a really good eye for it. So now I kind of want to know, like, what is Chris into? What makes Chris tick?
Taco Bell.
No, that makes me boom boom. That does not make me think. Because it's Taco Bell, it's no bueno.
That's right. Well, Chris, I'm sure you're as excited to be here as we are to have you, sir.
I mean,
if that's possible.
I'm jumping out of my genitalia.
That's my boy.
There's no show like one with Chris Seaver.
I love
really
it.
Isn't.
I love it. So let's yes. What's so I guess I'll kick this one off. What's the first horror flick you remember seeing that really kind of jumped out at you, where you were like, what is that?
That one's going in the intro, so you know, Chris. That one's going in the new intro.
So the intro will now be 10 minutes the next time the show is on.
No, I won't go that bad. It was 5 minutes.
Yeah, just give us a bunch of things we can screen cap of Chris's derpy faces. I love it. Yes, that's the one. That's the one. I was hoping.
Nice.
Fucking love this guy.
Yeah, so I mean, like, before I actually saw like a full horror movie, you know, like what's the first kind of like images I saw of horror?
Sure, that works.
So I was at, this was probably I was probably 6, and I was at my grandparents' on my dad's side. I was over there, and they had HBO.
Oh, nice.
And Creepshow was on.
Yes.
And they kept like changing the channel. Because we were all like ready to, you know, well, go to bed. And they're like, well, you know, you can't watch that. You can't, this is, you know, that's, you too young or whatever.
Challenge accepted.
And so I snuck downstairs to turn it back on. To watch as much as I could of it without, I mean, I didn't last because I was like terrified of it. But so like the, you know, Creepshow really was the first thing as far as like horror imagery that like it was really burned in my brain. You know, cut to 7-year-old Chris, and that changed a whole lot. I'm sorry if you've all heard this before. It's in the documentary, but my mom and my uncles really got me sort of into everything that I'm into.
Okay.
And this is, you know, this is the 80s. So my mom took me to see Nightmare on Elm Street when it came out, and I'm 7 years old. And that's really when I saw a full horror movie. And it didn't scare me. What it did was made me want to make movies. And I've talked about this for
ad nauseum
5 years of making movies. I don't know why Nightmare on Elm Street made me want to do it, you know. So that Christmas, our family got a video camera for Christmas, and then I would take it and go around the neighborhood and make, you know, silly Freddy movies, but with like Monty Python like style humor.
Did you have when you made those? Did you have like one of those cheap Don Post Freddy masks with like the foam hat they had back in the day, or nothing? Or
didn't even have the masks yet. Certainly not where I was growing up, Wellsville, New York, which is so small. And my Freddy glove, before I got the Freddy glove that was available, like by the time 3 came out, but I just cut up my my great grandfather's like welding gloves and I taped like butter knives.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's great.
So imagery wise, 1983, seeing Creepshow on HBO, and then full time wise, Nightmare on Elm Street. And my like I said, my mom and my uncles, my great grandparents, my aunts, and those, they were always like, why are you taking this kid to this stuff? And so they would be like, you can't see this stuff. But my mom and my uncles, I had a very young mom. She was 16 when she had me, so she was still a kid. And honestly, my relationship with my mom was always sort of like buddy, like
almost like peers.
Yeah, in a way. She just didn't really like grow up, and obviously neither did I. But I was
gonna say, I don't think anybody on this channel did.
Nope. Yeah, and so the Seaver side of the family were always so like, oh, you got to see this, you got to see this, So they were showing me a lot of stuff that kids just shouldn't see back then. But again, it was the 80s, and we found a way anyway. We sort of did it. I mean, we could go into rated R movies, and I never got stopped. You know what I mean? So it was very different back then. But I can still remember seeing Porky's for the first time when I'm a little kid.
When you were young, you saw Porky's?
Oh yeah, like me.
Oh, that's wild.
Me and my friend Louie. Again, it was probably like 82, so I'm 5. Maybe 6, 83 again, and it was on HBO, and Louie's parents were watching it, and Louie and I went outside and got some bricks, and we stepped up on the bricks and watched the movie through the outside window because we knew like his parents weren't going to let us watch.
Oh yeah.
So I saw Porky's at a very young age.
That's righteous.
But I was also like 12, 13 when my uncles were showing me fucking Christy Canyon porn and shit. It was a different time, man. Different time.
Better time, yes. Sir.
Yeah, definitely a better time. So, but yeah, and I've said this before too. While I was sort of afraid of Freddy, it didn't stop me from seeking his movies out, seeking more horror movies out, saying, hey, I want to rent this, that type of thing. It didn't really stop me. It just kind of like, I don't know. I was always fascinated with.
You kind of got the bite.
Yeah, I was really fascinated with like special effects at a young age, and also, again, the Seavers were like, "Oh, this is all fake. This is all
Yeah, pretend, make believe.
This is people making these movies. Somebody is doing those, prosthetics and all that stuff." And so, rudimentary, I was getting it, but it wasn't really until like I would pick up like a Fangoria or Starlog or something like that, and sort of start reading about the making of these things. And before that, I was a Star Wars kid. I mean, still am. Fantasy, adventure, Indiana Jones type. I was into all of that. Huge Muppet guy. So nice. anything the Henson Company was like blowing my mind. So I was very like intrigued with special effects and how it all works and puppetry and all of that stuff. So while like, I think like a lot of kids who sort of get into horror, it scares you, but it's such a draw. The scare is exciting. It's fun. There's a sense of like, mischief to it that you should be watching it and shit like that. And so it just intrigued me. I didn't leave behind my love of science fiction, fantasy, or any of that stuff. Horror was now something added that I could learn about. So
now I gotta ask, because you were very young when you saw these movies, did you ever have trouble, or did you ever find it kind of annoying that like I don't know if like your friends had seen the same movies, or maybe like going to school or whatever and trying to like talk movies to people and they're like, my parents won't let me watch that, or I can't watch that, or did you kind of have to carry that cross by yourself? Or were you able to, was there like a select group of people who had kind of like awesome parents or like a fucking cool uncle that would let them watch more movies and stuff?
Yeah, so a good majority, I would say. Well, again, what was fun was if they didn't talk horror, then we just switched to Masters of
sci-fi or what have you, right? Right.
Transformers or
yes,
Star Wars or G.I. Joe or whatever. But I had some neighbors, and it was these 3 girls, and they were all family. I
like where this is going already.
So their parents hung out a lot with my family, like my mom and my uncles, and they had parties and had a band and all this stuff. And
that's cool.
And so those kids, the neighbor girls, Corey, Rochelle, and Carla, they were also allowed to watch a lot of this stuff, and so they were primarily the neighborhood kids, and some of my cousins were like the stars of my backyard horror movies. So we could talk Freddy, we could talk Jason, we could talk like Fright Night and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Because they were cool. Like if we would go over there and watch stuff, or they would come over to my place and watch stuff. We were right next door.
Right.
And then I also had this family. They're called the Sarahs. And there was a whole brood of them, but mostly I hung out with Nick Sarah and Jennifer Sarah, and Jennifer later became my first girlfriend. But their older brother, Doug, like if you went up into his room, he had like, it was heavy metal and horror posters like all over.
Nice. All the Fangoria covers were torn out and hung up on his wall and everything.
Yeah. And
for the posters,
And their father, would sort of have like a weekend renting marathon thing. And so like, 85, 86, 87, the neighborhood kids would just end up at the Sarahs, and we'd be watching, RoboCop or Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Yes. That's fantastic.
Fun shit like that. All the police academies, it was just like it was really cool. And I didn't really start getting like my sort of group of friends until, I was 12 years old, 13 years old. And then if they would come over, I would show them the horror movies, and they had to not say what they watched,
Mm-hmm.
But all that stuff. But yeah, so I thought it was a pretty good mix. Growing up, I didn't really have any trouble finding my group. But like I said, I did influence a lot of kids.
Yes.
And showed them a lot of stuff. And, they changed and I just didn't, so.
Actually, it's funny you say that. You and I have a little bit in common there. So I didn't really have. I think I had one cool neighbor that lived across the street from me that had like I remember it was the first time I'd ever seen Dawn of the Dead, the original one, and I wasn't allowed to watch it, but I was over there and I was like, yeah, I can watch R-rated movies and shit. You know, again, I'm like 9-10 years old, and we watched it and stuff. But there was one other kid I'll never forget that was a friend of my neighbor's that lived like a good half-mile away, but it was in bike riding distance. You know what I mean? Who was a little bit older, and he had a collection of Fangorias and like loved horror movies. So I only had a couple people that I could talk with, but I definitely growing up since because when my parents split, they had like it was basically like single parent guilt, and they just kind of were in their own drama. So we kind of got away with renting whatever we wanted. And then I would show my younger brothers like movie, the Toxic Avenger. I think my youngest brother watched when he was probably like 6. And, we would, so I kind of like influenced them. And now, I was kind of the horror kid at my school. And now I have Facebook friends with a lot of the people that I grew up with, and they're all into like horror now and stuff, and blame me and my brothers for a lot of that, the influence as you were speaking of.
Yeah.
Which is always cool. But it was kind of tough for me to not have that group of friends to talk about it with until I eventually, me and my one friend, Nick, who had passed a couple of years ago, we ended up renting shit tons of movies over at his house because his parents didn't give 2 fucks, and it was great. And it was like, oh, yeah, let's watch these. But I understand, man. Heavy as the head.
I think my first horror movie was at a friend's house. He showed me the first Evil Dead movie because I grew up in a very ultra Catholic family, so like horror movies were next to being like
porn. It was like horror like porn.
They were not allowed in my house, so like anytime I watched them, I had to be at a friend's house and whatnot. So a lot of like my weird film stuff that I got into was because my friends were like, dude, you got to watch this. And their parents never gave a shit. We'd be up till 2 a.m. watching whatever we wanted. They'd be like, turn off the lights when you go to bed. Like, cool, thanks, bye.
Yeah. What if we're still up in the morning?
That happened a lot, actually.
Sure.
That happened a lot. Or you fall asleep to one at like 5 in the morning and you wake up at like 6 o'clock because you hear like screaming.
Yeah,
and like, you're like your eyeballs like half like awake and you just see like blood. You're like, wait, what? And then you wake up and keep watching it again.
Yes,
I've been there a couple times.
And that's
too.
a great one too. Evil Dead. That's a fucking classic. Now I know you said you had mentioned, and again, this is where we kind of share a similar interest. As I had the Fangoria, the Scream Greats Volume 1, the Savini tape. On beta, and I ran that shit until the tape was almost translucent. So I loved special effects at a very young age as well. What besides like Creepshow and the couple that you had mentioned was the one you were just like, oh yeah, like these special effects are fucking top notch. This is probably what is one of the goriest things you saw when you were younger that you were like, I definitely got to hit special effects with this?
Day of the Dead.
Yes.
And it's to this day, it's my favorite Romero zombie film. But
we're in a sinking ship on that one because that is an unpopular opinion amongst a lot of Romero fans.
Yeah. Savini was top notch to me. Like he was a rock star to me. And it was through reading Fangoria and renting and seeing all the special, like who did the special effects that I later, really loved. KNB. Steve Johnson was huge for me as well.
Steve Johnson, oh yeah. Didn't he marry Linnea Quigley
for a while? Yeah. I had a buddy who actually dated Linnea for a couple of years.
Oh, lucky guy.
That said everything.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it was an interesting time. It was an interesting time, but she's great. She is actually really great. And I got to be friends with her because of that relationship.
That's cool. I didn't know you knew her. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. We shot a Fright Rags commercial with her. Myself and Clint proposed a video to Ben. We did a commercial, and I flew Linnea out to be in it. We did that like about 10, 11 years ago.
Oh, that's cool.
I'll have to see if that's still on their channel.
I don't know if it is. I don't even know if it's on our channel anymore, but it is on the new disc that we're putting out, a new Blu-ray disc.
Oh, cool.
But I still have it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Anyway.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So, that like Savini, I also had the Scream Greats video. I had the Weekend of Horrors VHS, Fangori's Weekend of Horrors.
Oh, yes. Yes, sir.
Which I would watch over and over and over again. And I finally went to my first one in 93. My first Fangoria Weekend of Horrors was in 93 in New York City. But so Savini was like huge, and I wanted to replicate. I mean, early on, like all the stuff that we were doing outside of adding the fun, stupid like Benny Hill type.
Yeah, the
Zucker Brothers shit comedy into what we were doing as kids.
Antics.
95% of everything we were doing was just like, let's do some special effects, and it's all just us like trying out gore stuff, homemade bullshit gore stuff
on a kid's budget.
Yeah,
But aiming for the stars though.
It was fun, and I wish I still had a lot of those videos. Because I kept a shit ton of videos, but some of the stuff that I remember and that I knew we shot is just lost in time. Because it was fun. Because I remember us doing like a shitty like how-to special effects video.
Oh, that's great.
But it's gone.
Ah.
Yeah. I'm pissed about it because I would love to show people. But I remember my first trip to anywhere outside of like a 40-minute area from Wellsville. This was probably 88, 89. So I was 12. And we went to Rochester, where I live now, Rochester for the first time. And it was the first time I had ever gone into like a Toys R Us or anything like that. But there was a comic book shop in Rochester, and they had Tom Savini's Grand Illusion book.
Oh, that's nice.
Which was his first makeup book.
Uh-huh.
And
I got both of them.
It was that, or I do have both. It was either that or the Dick Smith book, and I have that too. But anyway, so my great aunt bought that for me. And I still have it, and it's falling apart.
Oh, that's amazing.
But so yeah, I mean, I was really like hardcore into that shit, and it wasn't necessarily like, yeah, I love seeing people dead, and that.
Yeah,
I wasn't an angsty like morbid kid at all. I was Mr. like, I'm Ernest and Pee-wee, but I just loved that stuff. And so the big draw for me was just how did he do it? How did all these people do these special effects? And I want to try to do it too as a kid, so yeah.
That's awesome.
So do you have either a set of its horror movies, or even just one that you went to watch it and you were just like, this is not for me, and was just like, nope, and never went back to it?
Good show.
Good question.
I don't think as a kid, or maybe going into my teens, I probably watched something and I was like, that ain't for me. I mean, here's an example. Like I remember, again, it was probably 12, 13 years old. And we rented Faces of Death.
Nice.
And that wasn't for me. I'm not a
true gore kind of guy.
Yeah, no, I don't want to see that shit. But I remember dad just being like, nope, okay, I'm good. Even though half of it was fake, but
yeah.
The other,
traces of death. That's where it was at.
And I didn't even like seeing it. I don't like seeing animals being fucked with and shit like that. So it wasn't appealing to me. I'm not a big real death kind of guy.
Right.
But I remember later, like into my mid-teens, and I had my cousin Casey over, who's 4 years younger than me. Casey plays Teen Ape. Well, he used to play Teen Ape and all my stuff. But when Casey was young, I remember I had him and my buddy Jesse in the room, and I had rented, and I didn't like it. I had watched it before they came over, Necromantic.
Oh, yeah. That's the Swedish one, right? Or something
I
like
didn't
that?
like it. Again, it wasn't for me. It's not the type of horror movie that I gravitate towards. But I remember being like, guys, you gotta see this. It's so great. It's so fun. And I got it to a point where like she's fucking the dead corpse, and she's like slurping the eyeball in her mouth. And so I was like, yeah, you just sit here. You're gonna laugh, blah blah blah. I gotta go to the bathroom. And then I hit play and I just ran out. Listen, and I could hear them be like, what? No, what is this? And they were like scrambling to shut it off and shit like that. But yeah, like Necromantic wasn't for me, I gravitate towards the more fun aspects of horror. Like, not that I don't like something like, say, I don't know, Silence of the Lambs. I can recognize that that's a good movie, and it was a fun mystery or whatever. But I would much rather watch something like
fun and whimsy.
Chopping. I want to watch Friday the 13th Part 7.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, something with a little bit of not whimsy, but
a little laughter,
a little jazz to it.
I like camp. I want like heightened. Everything needs to be heightened for me.
Okay.
I like slasher movies. I find them innately ridiculous. So I like those. Like The Burning is kick-ass. Like I love The Burning.
Did you ever see, just real quick, did you ever see Brutal Massacre with David Naughton and Ken Foray and like Ellen Sandweiss? And it's like it's a movie about a independent movie guy that like makes all these terrible horror movies, and he wants to make another one, and they kind of follow it.
Yeah.
You have seen that or have not?
I did see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of where I was going with it. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Didn't do much for me.
Okay.
I think there's times in my life that I remember were very crucial to sort of framing who I am as a person, and sort of knowing that I wanted to make movies early. 1989, I rented The Toxic Avenger and Bad Taste.
Ooh,
and
nice.
It was a double feature. It was the first time I was seeing these movies. And that changed it was huge for me to see those types of movies, low budget comedies, ridiculously over the top, silly gore and stuff like that. That's really when I was like, this is exactly what I want to do. I want to mix these two things.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I had seen stuff like that, Night of the Creeps and Evil Dead 2 and things like that before seeing these two movies. But these two movies were different from that comedy. These were like,
Bad Taste especially. I mean, Toxic Avenger is the Toxic Avenger, but I mean, Bad Taste is like so over the top. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and so
I did.
sent me sort of on to what I do now, really, because I was such a comedy kid as well, growing up loving Monty Python and the Zucker Brothers stuff, Airplane and Top Secret and all that stuff, Benny Hill and
Naked
dumb,
Gun, like that.
dumb shit that I gravitated towards. Mel Brooks, that was the type of dumb shit.
I would have gone with Young Frankenstein. That's my favorite Brooks. Well, besides Spaceballs, Young Frankenstein is my favorite Mel Brooks movie.
But yeah. So I've never been like I'm not a Rob Zombie guy.
You're better off.
I don't. Well, what's funny is like I think I respect the man.
Yeah.
And I see his good intentions. But when I watch one of his movies, and it was funny because I would keep watching in hopes that he finally would make the one that I liked. And he just never did. And I just gave up. So I would love to just sit and like geek out with him. Because I think it would be a really fun and fascinating conversation.
Sure. I get that, yeah.
But like the movies that he makes are just not for me. I just don't get down with those. So movies like that, in that vein, I don't gravitate towards.
That's fair.
So like the over the top, like realism gore, that it's just not your thing.
No, it's not.
I get that. What's wrong with that?
I think in my life, just in general, I'm not even like I'm not a drama guy. Like if it's a drama movie, then it has to be encased in a fantastical element. I can't watch Saving Private Ryan. Like that's not.
Yeah. Could you give an example of one wrapped in a?
Well, like something like, say, Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's fair. Ask and answer.
There's a lot of drama and emotion in that movie.
In a fantastical kind of setting.
But it's in a fantastical setting. What I gravitate towards, not real life.
Okay.
Because we live in everyday life, I don't want to watch a movie that takes place in everyday life. I just
you're the escapism portion of
yes.
Entertainment.
Yeah. So like even in a slasher movie, there is something heightened about the slasher movie that to me takes it away from the real life, so I can enjoy it. And certainly if that slasher movie has the killer end up becoming a zombie and then then going on a killing spree as a zombie slasher, talking about Jason.
I knew exactly where you were going with that. I know what he's talking about.
That's fun and appealing to me.
Yes.
So like I've never been like a drama person.
Okay.
Like real life shit doesn't. Like you won't catch me watching like anything like Oppenheimer or anything like that. Because I have zero interest in that, and even more so, zero interest in watching Hollywood sort of pretend to be real life and give you sort of the Hollywood version of what happened and shit like that. I
get that.
It's like, give me any day of the week. Give me fucking the Monster Squad any day of the week.
I love the Monster Squad.
I think you gave me one of your.
I did. I gave you the DVD.
Yeah, I guess
because I got the Kino Lorber.
So then I have to ask you, because I'm not a fan of the series, but he is. I do not like the Terrifier movies. I got through the first one. I started the second one, and I was completely turned off. I was like, this is not for me. Not a great, but this dude loves it. I don't know why.
Lots of people love it. Lots of people love it. Like I watched 1.5 and was like,
that's about what I did.
I was like, this is garbage. I find them to be useless pieces of shit, actually.
Preach, sir.
Actually, what I find them to be is glorified effects reels. The guy
That's fair. That's very fair.
Is the effects artist, and I think it's just like, hey, I can spend all this money and give you 2 hours of me doing all these effects, because there's really nothing to those movies. And
yeah.
I don't find anything about them entertaining. But I don't, whatever. People love that shit. People love them, and they're just not for me. They're just
that's fair.
In fact, we're gonna be poking fun at those movies pretty soon.
Oh, ball tickle.
Right.
But
this is how we used to do it.
But hey, man, they they got their audience, and
yeah, they found their niche.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, like, I like horror movies, but my girlfriend is 100 times more into it than I am, and even she couldn't get through those. She goes, "Can we watch anything else at this point?" I'm like, "Thank you. I was gonna say that, but I'm really glad you said it first, because I was just sitting there. I'm like, I don't want to watch this anymore."
Now, is the Hatchet franchise alongside with you as Terrifier? Same deal. You're not a fan.
I think the Hatchet movies kind of suck. I think like Adam Green to me I'm not a fan of Adam Green. And I have a hard time with movies being pushed in my face where everything is the new face of horror and
right, yeah,
old school horror back again and blah blah blah, and then I watch them and they completely miss the mark to me. Like like Hatchet and whatever that guy, the killer's name is, I can't even remember that.
Victor Crowley, but it's neither here nor there.
Yeah, it did nothing for me. I actually hated the first one. I was just like, oh, this is terrible. So yeah, they don't do anything. I think the only one that I semi liked was
this is the big one. Sorry, go ahead.
I think I semi liked part 3. But I did not. Yeah, I could live without.
That's fair. I mean, again, asked and answered.
Mm-hmm.
I like Joe Lynch. I like Joe Lynch a lot. I think he is actually a very talented filmmaker, where Adam Green really loves the smell of his own shit. Can't do it.
Again, another fair assessment. I've seen interviews with him, and I've interviewed Rick McCollum, who is a stunt guy forever, and like a million different things, but he was in the Hatchet franchise, and he kind of had the same opinion of Adam.
Is it about Adams?
So that's fair. Yeah, something about Adams. They're all fucking pricks. Let me cover my name tag here real quick.
But again, people love the Hatchet movies. Like, what do you do? I don't care. Like,
yeah,
enjoy what you enjoy. Like,
exactly.
I'm here to put you down. Like, fucking.
No, I know.
You know,
there's plenty of seats on the boat. You know what I mean? That made no sense, did it?
I mean, I don't care if people don't like what I like.
That's fair.
Why should I care? It does nothing to me.
You know? That's why I always look at it.
That's very fair.
I like what I like. It may not be what everybody likes, but I have a few things that cross over into the things that they do like, so it works out.
Yeah.
Like, he's not really big into like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings.
I love Lord of the Rings. Whoa.
My bad. I didn't think you would.
Whoa.
I didn't think you would.
Whoa.
I apologize.
Pump the brakes there.
I did, and I apologize.
Okay, it's okay.
But like, we still find our own common ground in other things that we enjoy. Like, he hates 90% of my music, and I hate 90% of his music. But then we find it in the same kind of. It's a death metal. He likes. I'm like, oh, that's good. I like that too. So it works out.
Makes it the world go round.
You're supposed to like what you like. No, like what everybody else likes, because then everybody would be the same, and that'd be boring, and nothing would be cool or original.
That's right. That's right. If everybody liked the same thing, it'd be boring as fuck. You wouldn't be able to talk to anybody about anything.
Yeah.
What's the worst horror flick you've ever seen?
Damn, put the poor man on the spot.
That's right.
Oh man, how do you?
It could be for a myriad of reasons, and you can choose whatever reason you didn't like that specific movie for. Okay, let me put it this way. What's a horror flick that you watched that you were like, oh, this has great fucking potential, and then you finish it and you're like, oh, they blew it. If there is one.
I'm sure there is. You know,
I was put on the spot with the same question the other day, so I figured I'd just pass it forward.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd say Jason in Space for me. That one, like, it sounds fun. Like when you think about it, like he can't die and he's in space. Like the dude just gonna float around and just fucking slice everything. And then they made it.
Then the movie happened, yeah.
And it wasn't as fun as I was hoping.
Wow.
Yeah, I do hate Jason X, but I mean, I hate a lot of. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't dwell on it. Geez, I'm trying to think of like something recently where I've been excited and then kind of like let down.
Slaughtered vomit dolls.
That sounds horrible.
That's not great.
Did you happen to watch the new Scream? Or are you even into the Scream movies?
Scream. I hate Scream.
That's fair. Well,
yeah.
You were thinking I thought I would help.
I've always hated them. I can still remember walking out of that theater in '96.
Oh no.
Pissed that I went in there. I was just so like, what a load of shit. And then like my cousin, Casey again, he's so into them that like he would sort of bribe me to go to all of them with him. and so I did. I ended up going. I went up to 5 with him. All the way up to 5, part 5, and each one I was like, fucking waste of goddamn fucking time, and then this last at 5 I was like, Casey, I'm never doing this ever again. Like this was fucking garbage.
I mean, you gave him 5 movies, so that's fair. That's more than no thank you bite. You know what I mean?
So no more Scream for me. But yeah, I don't know. I know there is. I guess I would have to like go through my like letterbox.
It's a tough question to answer, and I forget what my answer was the other day when I was asked it. But it was like it took me a minute, and I was like, Esther asked me, and I was like, fuck, that's a really good question.
She's got good questions.
She does.
I keep trying to get her to come on the show one of these days. She's a smart kid.
She is.
So many bad movies.
There are an awful, but so I make a differentiation. There's bad movies, and then there's bad movies that are so bad that they're great.
Okay.
There is a nameless director that might be in our presence right now whose movies are so bad they're great.
Yes.
And you have to enjoy them. I mean, if you don't, that's
I'm sorry, Chris.
Your own problem.
With him. I try.
No.
Oh, ouch! Nightbreed sucked. Ouch, Jimmy.
The thing with me is that I know what I make.
But they're.
I enjoy them.
So do I. That's not the point. But they're like almost intentionally schlocky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you exactly. I'm like they're not like you didn't set out to make fucking
Schindler's List.
Yeah, Schindler's List or fucking Rosebud. Like what you're doing. You know what you're doing, and you infuse it, with your own.
He knows what he likes, and he knows what he would want to see if he was going to spend his money to go see him.
Well, not only that, but that's the whole allure as far as I was concerned when I first found out about Steve's movies. And I'm going to cut this short because I don't want to talk about Steve's movies all the time. But it was the best. Blood Fart was the best, worst movie I'd ever seen in my life, and I loved every fucking stinking second of it, and still do. All right, enough with the Seaver movies, but.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I love a lot of bad movies too. I own a lot of bad movies, but I love them. The guilty pleasure thing I don't believe in, because I don't feel guilty watching anything that I watch, or anything that I love. But yeah, I guess there's, man, I don't know. That would be weird because there are movies that are genuinely terrible to me and I would never watch again. But then I own
The Wood Chipper Massacre. You know what I mean?
And Samurai Cop is deplorable, but holy shit, is it endlessly entertaining. And I genuinely love that movie, knowing full well it's a piece of turd. Same with like Garbage Pail Kids. You know, it's a
Garbage Pail. That's one of mine. I love the Garbage Pail Kids movie, dude.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
It's so bad, but it's so great.
But I got it.
I love Howard the Duck.
I do too, but everyone else hates Howard the Duck.
Me too.
It's fun to watch, and I love Howard.
I love Howard. It was the first time I ever seen duck titties. I was like, yo, what?
Yeah, I'll never not love Howard. You know? I don't know. So
I meant no offense, Chris. I love your movies, and you know I do.
I don't take offense about them. I don't care what people think of my movie.
Well, I didn't want to come off as rude or anything. I didn't want to come off as insult. Okay.
You wouldn't. Yeah.
Good.
I'm the guy that made Scrotal Vengeance. I have no shame.
Yes, sir.
I know what I do.
I recently, well, semi-recently, did an interview with Billy Garbarina.
No, Billy.
And, yeah, let me tell you what a great guy. Thinks very highly of you, and is one of. It's so interesting to hear about his story and how you and him ended up meeting, and a lot of the stuff he was in, like the Stink of Flesh, and everything like that. And it's interesting to see that these two people with very outside the box kind of interests, as far as like movies go and roles you pick in movies you end up being in. It's so cool to see people like that find each other, and then help each other out, and just be in there for each other and get along and be able to talk like these kind of movies and appear in these kind of movies together and just kind of have this rapport, for lack of a better term. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, he's one of my best friends. I've been lucky.
Fantastic guy.
I've been lucky that way, finding this group.
Yes.
They're in my movies, but first and foremost, they're my best friends. I love them all, and they're all fucking wackadoos. They're all so dumb.
They're all wackadoos.
I like it.
They're so silly and talented and weird. And
yes,
we all have our quirks, and we all have things we hate. We all have things we love, but somehow I've been able to gather this group together. And we work.
It's like you find each other in life. It's just things happen where you're just meant to meet these people. You know what I mean? And with genius comes eccentricity.
Yes.
It's like one of the oldest things in the book. But yeah, you guys are, it's amazing. I mean, your catalog alone is outstanding, but like Billy's, I had no idea about like a lot of the movies Billy's been in. And then again, just to hear the stories about him and like people he knows, and like coming in to meet you, and like, into that whole group and everything. And it's like, I love this. I love things like that, 'cause there's a camaraderie, and there's a certain amount of, what you're in for. If you're working together on this, and it ends up being, good or bad, but it's an experience nonetheless.
Yeah.
Show enough. Show enough. That's right.
We're going to do something fun here that normally we do. Like, it's one of those like wrestling things. But if you had to pick your Mount Rushmore of like horror bad guys, who's on your Mount Rushmore?
You got it. No, you got it. No, you got it.
Till I just got off work too. My brain is all mush still.
It's because of the Gen X-ness of it all. I'm gonna pick Freddie. Freddie and Jason and Michael.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. They're good, great choices.
But I would also pick Peter Cushing as Victor Frankenstein.
Ooh, okay.
Because I think he's a great villain. in those Hammer films.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's fucking badass. So he would go up there. Yeah, you know. Yeah.
That was a great. That was a good answer. Solid. I was just waiting to see if there was maybe somebody else that might have honorable mention.
Maybe Pinhead. Maybe a Critter.
Yeah, I was going to ask about Pinhead. I'm like,
We still got time.
Yeah. You know.
We have so many sights to show
we
you.
have such sights to show you.
I'm not a big Texas Chainsaw dude.
Okay.
My favorite is part 2.
Yes. Well, clearly, no. Yes. I'm the same way. I like 2 better than 1. And it's just so like dark comedy.
Yeah.
It's so different. It's so different from the first movie.
Mm.
Yeah. I love part 2. I really love part 2. But so
yeah,
Leatherface ain't gonna go up there for me.
Okay.
How about Chucky? How do you feel about those movies?
I love 1, 2,
3.
Bride of Chucky, and Curse of Chucky.
Okay.
The others I do not like.
Just too real, or just didn't hit it?
No, 3 sucked. You know, I saw all of them that were in theaters from 2 on.
Okay.
2 was great. 3 sucked to me. Bride of Chucky blew me away.
Was that a what's his name? He did I think he did Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah, that was Ronnie Yu.
Thank you.
I hated Seed of Chucky. Couldn't stand it. And then when they came back,
I think it was Cult of Chucky, right? Or whatever. That was after that one.
That was after Curse. Curse was great because it went back to original Chucky, and then Cult made it goofy again.
Jimmy showed his not working.
So I prefer the less goofy Chucky. Even though Bride of Chucky has it is not as intense as it is in Seed of Chucky.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I love Chucky. You know, I love Leprechaun up until 4.
Leprechaun in the Hood. Was that the one, or was that 3?
No, that's 5 and 6.
That's 5. Jesus, I'm all over the place with these.
5 and 6 are not for me, and 4 kind of sucks. But 1 through 3, I have a blast with. Leprechaun.
Now, since you like horror and sci-fi, I gotta ask, Event Horizon. How do you feel about Event Horizon?
I think it's great. I don't love it as much as my wife. My wife loves that movie.
Oh yeah,
but I think it's good. Sci-fi horror. Alien. Life Force.
Life Force, yes, absolutely.
Fun.
Galaxy of Terror with fucking Sid Haig and Robert Englund.
Yeah, the Roger Corman stuff. That's all right. That's all right.
That's right.
But yeah, the big daddy is Alien and that world.
Puppet Master.
Oh yeah, Puppet Master. Yay, nay.
Full Moon.
Yes.
Yep. Love them.
All right, great, awesome.
Love them. I love early Full Moon.
Those are great.
Charlie Band in the Empire days and early Full Moon days, like, can't be beat. Like that's shit.
Ad channels. How fucking awesome was that one? They had Psychotic Symphony doing, their thing. I always thought of Bad Channels as kind of like an overglorified hour and a half of MTV. Because you had like 3 or 4, you know what I'm saying? You had like 3 or 4 different bands that all would do their whole song on there. Yeah. And then you'd move on to a little bit of movie, and then you get like the next band's music video, and then you'd move on a little bit. That's one of my favorite ones.
I've never seen that one.
That's a good one. I got to get that one.
But yeah, he was rocking on all cylinders.
Mm-hmm.
You know, from 84 to, geez, probably to 97, and then
like the subspecies. That was a good fucking.
I like these movies. I like the first 3 Trancers movies. I like fucking Castle Freak and
Castle Freak is sick. Yes,
Full Moon Bridge.
What do we have? What do we have? Demonic Toys.
And then
I like Dollman. I think
Dollman, Timothy. What's his name? Timothy. Yes.
You know, I have all the ones that I like, starting from like Ghoulies 2. You know,
I forgot about Ghoulies 2.
Yeah, that's Empire. When Charlie had Empire, I don't like Ghoulies 1, but Ghoulies 2 on. I love Terror Vision.
That was a great one.
You know, Sorority Babes in the Slimeball drama.
Yep.
Dr. Alien, Dr. Mordred.
Dr. Mordred. I never heard of Dr. Alien. Dr. Mordred, I'm aware of.
Dr. Alien is fucking great. It's a sex comedy. It's right at the tail end of Empire going into Full Moon, and it's fucking great. The original title is called "I Was a Teenage Sex Mutant."
Nice.
And they call it Dr. Alien, but it's a really fun, goofy sex comedy by Dave Dakota, and produced by Charles Band. I'm
pretty sure. No, he was the first Reanimator. I'm almost positive was an Empire movie, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
That's what I thought.
You're smart.
I could just never remember these things. I'm pretty sure the first Reanimator was.
Yeah, Reanimator is. From Beyond is.
From Beyond is a fantastic. Actually, I need to rewatch that. I haven't watched that in a while, and it's sitting right at the forefront of my collection because I'll put them there because I'm like, I gotta watch this. And if it's in eyesight, I'll be like, oh yeah, I wanted to watch that. But yeah, that is a great movie.
Oh, I love From Beyond almost more than I love Reanimator. And I love Reanimator, but From Beyond, something about it does it for me. Anytime Stewart worked with Barbara Crampton and Jeffrey Combs, they fucking I
just love Barbara Crampton's costumes in that movie. Past a certain point, I'm like,
but yeah, they were a great trio. Those three.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, they did Castle Freak, and then Stuart Gordon did fucking Fortress with
that was really
Jeffrey Combs and Christopher Lambert. Yeah, that was
I didn't know that was Stuart Gordon.
That was a big budget for him.
Oh, you just blew my mind on that one. Okay.
And I'll get the broom.
You get the broom, yes. Thank you.
Yes,
that's exactly right. But yeah, unfortunately, Chris, I think we've run out of time for the day, man. But again, you have an open invite to come back if you'd ever like to subject yourself to more of this.
Yeah, I mean, I love talking. I could keep talking.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. We'll have to do that one of these days, like set like a time frame where we got like 2 hours.
I would love to do
just,
that.
Like, just
would you be down for that if we could like set aside a couple hour block someday and just fucking have at it, man, and just get our cocks all intertwined or whatever, however it works.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Brutal. Well, on that note, I guess we'll see you guys back here tomorrow because I like self-torture. We're doing a wrestling show tomorrow and then normal random nonsense on Thursday. And Tom's got something on Friday.
But we going to Free Beer and Hot Wings, baby.
So we probably won't be doing that, but then there's something else on Saturday.
No.
I don't know. I'll figure it out. Just stay tuned. There's so much coming out now.
Chris, thank you so much, man. You know we're both going to hit you up on Facebook after this, so have your phone ready. We're going to be like, dude, thank you so much. That was such a great show. Beep, 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 beep.
Are we that predictable?
Well, I was going to. I figured you were going to too, so yeah. But Chris, like, man, you're always welcome, bro. You're one of the greatest guests, dude. We love having you.
Hey,
so
man.
thank you so much for slumming with us and allowing us to taste your fluids and smell the moist grundle. Yes, yes. That's right.
Right.
All right, everybody. Thanks to everybody in the chat for watching. Yes, sir.
Danhausen is very good, yet very evil.
I love Danhausen. I'm glad he said that. That makes my heart happy.
Stick around after the intro for a minute, Chris, if you wouldn't mind, buddy. The outro.
Never.
Oh no. Yeah.